Hey guys, Corey Skinner here. I want to go over my home theater system and how a regular guy like myself can really get the most out of my home theater. I think I got a pretty good system. I'm a Klipsch guy, so I'm running 5.1, kind of 7.1 depending if I use my extra Bose speakers in the rears with 2 subs. Sounds pretty dang good, but everything I've been seeing online says use this miniDSP, this digital signal processor, to integrate your subs. Get the integration with that over your crossover at 80 hertz into your main. So I went and bought the miniDSP. Bam! I think it was like 150, 200 bucks, something like that. A regular guy like me, not a super techie guy, I'm gonna show you step by step how to install this with my 2 subs with free software, REW. A lot of you probably are aware of that program. So we'll get that up and running, and let's dial in these subs. All right, let's go. Okay, so you're going to plug in one end of your subwoofer cable into the back of your AVR. So I have my Yamaha 770 here. It's going to go into the back in the subwoofer out. Okay, this is the input side of the miniDSP. We're going to go ahead and input that other side of the subwoofer cable that came out of your AVR into input 1. So to be able to download the programs that we're going to have into the miniDSP, we got to hook up this USB into my laptop. And the other side of that cable into my USB in my laptop. And this is the output side of the miniDSP. And I'm going to go ahead and run one sub into my out 1 and the second sub into my out 2. The last cable is HDMI cable from laptop into the front of your receiver, and so this laptop can send the pulses, the sweeps through your AVR into your subs, okay? Looks like that's the video auxiliary input, and I'll just click it over to that. Okay guys, let's get going. So first thing, let's get everything open and running. So first thing, let's open up our REW software, which is free. You can find it on the miniDSP site or just go to REW. So when you first initially open this, sometimes there'll be a box here that says, do you want to use your UMIC 1 because it's attached? Since I've already had this open, it doesn't ask it now. But you want to hit yes, so you're using the UMIC 1. You can go to this SPL meter, hit that. Hey! So SPL meter is working. So first thing, here's your REW. You want to go to the references in the top right hand corner, hit this wrench, or to the left you can hit preferences and you can go there. So first thing is we're running the Java 48. Some people run this AISO, but I heard it's a pain in the ass, so we're doing this one. Make sure your output device is to your TV, whatever your HDMI cable out of your laptop is going to. So if it's your amp or your receiver, your AVR. So mine's going to the LG TV. And input device, here's your UMIC 1. So you have to add in a calibration file for that UMIC 1. So when you go to miniDSP, you need to enter in the serial number that's on the UMIC 1 actual handle. So if you look at the actual mic, it'll have a serial number written on it. It's like 6 numbers, 3 numbers and a dash and 3 numbers or something. And go to the UMIC place on the miniDSP webpage, and it's super simple, and you just literally write it in and it'll give you a calibration file. So calibration files go here. There's a 90 degree and there's a 0 degree, or a not a 90 degree. And since we're using an omnidirectional mic, which is when it's sticking up in the air, omnidirectional is 360 degrees all the way around it, because I want to be able to pick up all the sound. I want to use the 90 degree calibration. If you're going to be pointing the mic directly at a speaker, then you want to use the other calibration file, which is not 90. So we got UMIC 1 here, UMIC 1 here. I got 90, 90 on both of them. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. It's pretty simple. If you're pointing it up and you want all the directions of noise omnidirectional, use the 90 degree. If you're pointing it directly at the speaker, use the other one. Okay. So you can change your sweep levels here if your volume, when you check levels, if your volume's too high or too low, you can adjust the sweep level here or input volume. Input volume does state it should be around 0.5. We're at 0.53. And I think the sweep volume goes from like -12 to -26. So I'm at -21, which sounds fine. So first thing, let's check levels. You scroll down here actually. So input level around -18. Target range is -24 to -12. So we're on -21. And then you want to be around -30 to -50. Let's hit it. About -40, -39, perfect. Finish. That's good. So that's ready to rock. Shrink that. Now let's open to our miniDSP. First thing is we want to connect. Always brings up this device found situation, this bridge here. I just throw that down to the tray. So when you go through these configurations, they're all going to be a little bit different. It's if you want to switch through and have different house curves and things. I'm only running 2 subs. Even if I was running 4, I'd just use the 1 configuration. So I'm using 1 input from my AVR, and I got 2 outputs, 1 to sub, 1 to sub. If I go to configuration 2, all off. I turned all those off. 3, all off, and 4 I'm not using either. Perfect. So back to configure 1. So we got inputs here. We'll talk about this in a little bit, and then go to click to outputs. Here's your 4 outputs. You got your dB range here, your gain up and down, or your gain right here, your EQ, which you can get into this. So this is where I've already been playing around with it. So I'll show you, I'll clear that. And that's on advanced, not on basic. Yeah, so you don't want to do that. Just want to keep it on advanced. And if I go to my number 2, make sure that's cleared. And honestly, check them all just so we're starting scratch. Yep. So these are theoretically, it's where these filters are going to be that are going to adjust your levels. Kind of a weird situation. And you got crossovers. You can add low pass, high pass. I bypass them all, so we just got a straight line through. And should be the same for 2. And that's all the outputs I'm using. So I've been playing around with this. So we'll go back to 0 on, this is a delay down here. So we're going to do 1 sub at a time. So I'm going to mute sub 2. So we're only outputting sub 1. So we're connected. Let's shrink it. Bring up REW. Okay guys, here we go. So this is just the subs. And I actually switched over, so my output 1 is going to my first sub and my output 3 is going to my second sub. So we are going to run a sweep on just 1 sub right now. Here we go. Okay, there's 1 sub. So as you can see on here, the bottom is your frequency range. We got 20 hertz, 30 hertz, 40, 50, and so on. 100 hertz, 110, it really starts falling off. My subs aren't the greatest. I think they're supposed to be from like 30 to 110, so right in here. But look at what all my furniture and my couch and walls and all that stuff does here. Man, it really creates this wonky graph here. And on the left is my decibel range. So 80 is the highest, and it dips down to 60. So a 20 decibel difference from 50 hertz to 70 hertz. That's crummy with all of the furniture in here. So that's my 1 sub. So let's go in. Let's unmute this one, mute this one. Let's run this sub. Okay, so that one's much better. Obviously, so I'm running front corners on my subs. One's in the front left, one's in the front right. So this one's actually much better. So if we bring them both up, so that is both of my subs. So we want to do a summation of these and kind of sync these together. So I'm going to run them both together now. Unmute. And I want the graph to be higher than both of these graphs because we're summing them together, okay? So let's run them both together, see what we get. Okay, so not bad. So on the left here, it's always good to identify or else you'll just forget. So I got left front, right front, and then both together. And then down here, you can unclick them if you need to. So highlight this one, left front. That yellow line's right front, and this is both. So both of them, not too shabby. This one is higher than both other graphs. Decibel ranges are higher, dips a little bit lower here. Dips a little bit lower here, but high, higher, higher, higher. Okay, so first thing we do is play with the delay. So I can go into my first sub and let's just put a 5 delay on. Let's see what that does. So 5 millisecond delay on my first sub, 0 on my second. So that's a little bit worse, but let's mark it. So that's 5, 0, 5 millisecond to first, 0 millisecond to second. Let's go in, make another adjustment. Let's go 7. Run another sweep. So make sure to mark them. So that was 7 and 0. So that one's right here. It's still well below all the rest. So still don't like that. Because remember, we want the most decibels. We're trying to sum them together to get the highest. So let's go back into DSP. Try 9. Murphy, go down. Try 0, 9, or excuse me, 9, 0. 9 millisecond delay on the first sub. That one's still well below. 9, 0. So let's unclick the left front and right front by themselves. Let's unclick that one, unclick 7.0, unclick 9.0. So again, that's still just both my subs with no delay. Let's try 11. Just trial and error, guys. Just trying to see what the best reading we can get. Remember, these are just the subs, no mains. Okay, so that one's well below. If I click on my 9, it looks like, so it's getting worse. Right? The graph keeps getting lower and lower. So it looks like adding delay to my first sub, so that was 11.0, is not really working. So now we just switch it. Go to that to 0. Go to my second sub. Let's add 5. Run a sweep. So that's not bad. Look how that stayed up high here. It dipped a little low, a little bit lower than this here. So this last one was 0 millisecond on the first sub and 5 on the second. So I marked that over here, 0.5. See how we went from 5.0, 7.0, 9.0, 11.0, all on the milliseconds on the first sub delay. Now we're doing the second sub. So not bad. So let's try 10. 10 millisecond delay on the second sub. Ooh, that one's pretty dang good. So let's mark it first, 0, 10. So that's that one right there. So let's get rid of the 0.5 because that one, this 0.5, the one that's in yellow, see how low it is on 80, 90, and 100 hertz right in here? That's too low. So let's just drop that one. So we got, this is my original both subs. And those are the same stinking colors, aren't they? Let's change the colors. Let's make this one like green or something. What did I just do? Oops. The last one. There we go. So the last one, 0.10, is in green. A little bit lower here, higher here, lower here, higher here, but matches the end. From 80 on it matches, and it matches pretty much 30 and before. So that was pretty dang close. So we're within, so let's try 9. Just bump it one direction or the other. Okay, before I forget, let's mark that, label it 09. So how was that one? So compared to the green, so that yellow highlighted one and the green, pretty dang close. Let's do a couple more. Let's drop down to 8. See what that gives us. Okay, so see that real dip here? So now you can kind of see, so the green was a 10-second delay. The purple right here was a 9-second delay, which pretty decent. And then I go the other way and do a 8-second delay, and it even drops further. So we don't like, so let's go in the other direction. Now let's go, instead of 8, so we already did 10, let's try 11. So that one's right in there too. Better Gosh dang, I always forget. I gotta write these in or I'll forget them. Shoot, that one don't look bad either. Let's get rid of the one with the big dip. That's that 8. So there's 9, 10, and baseline. I mean, those are all real close. You know, well, obviously we're matching pretty good here, matching pretty good here. I mean, honestly, our original with 0 delay, I mean, the only thing, it's higher here, lower, and then higher again by quite a bit, and then lower again. A little bit more dynamic, higher and lower. So I wonder, I think I need to pick one that's a little bit more even, because I'm going to try to flatten this out with some EQ. So that purple one's not bad. That's a 9-second delay. I like this last one too. So there's that. Let's do this 9-second delay. I like that. Let's take that out. Let's take that out. So here's our both subs with no delay. The one that's highlighted in yellow. And then I added a little bit of a delay, and it kind of, I mean, it kept the bass, it never dropped below the baseline. So this one never dropped below this one. But we did bring this peak down about 3 dB with the 9-second delay. Okay. So that's our 9-second delay. So smoothed it out the best we could just with delays. That's the first thing you do. So we're going to do a 0 and 9. Get a fresh measure that we can EQ. Okay. So unmark that one. So that's what we're going to work with. So we go up here to this EQ button on the top. Open this up. So this is our house curve that we're going to kind of change. And this is personal preference, guys, whatever you like. When I look online, there's a certain one that they try to use that's supposed to sound better. I'm going to try to use that one a little bit just because if that's what the pros think, I think that must be the best. So I'm going to be working between these right here, the 30 hertz range, because my subs do not go below that, up to 80 or 100 is kind of where my subs fall out, as you can see. So we're going to try to level that out as best we can with a little down slope. Okay, so the 30 and 40 hertz range, I want the decibels a little higher than the 80 to 100. I want it to be a little bit downhill. So over here to the right, unhook or unclip this drop down box, pick whichever EQ device you're using. I'm using the miniDSP 2.4 high def. Here's the original miniDSP. There's a lot in here to choose from, so just click on that so it has all the correct settings for you. The next block, so you can change this target to full range, subwoofer, all this stuff. I'm just doing subwoofer. So for my bass management cutoff, I don't want to cut off. I'm just going to continue that all the way through. If I change these octaves, it just changes like the direction of the flatness of the house curve. I always keep this on 12. My cutoff, I want it as 2, so it just creates a straight line over here so I can bring this up as much as possible. Same thing with the slopes. It just changes the slopes. I just keep this where it was. My low frequency rise, so I want my LF to be at 100. And then my low frequency rise end, I go to 30. So I'm pretty much trying to play from 30 to 100 where my subs are rated. My slope, this can change. So originally, some people say you want this from the highest peak here, slope down to the lowest, about 10 decibels. I find that a little bit too much. So I do this low frequency rise slope about 3. And you get, well, so what is that? 80 down to 75, so it's about a 5 dB drop. Okay, and then this target level adjusts this up and down. So see if I press this down, see that whole entire slope lowers or increases. So this line is where we want my sweep, my graph to be on. So I'm trying to line up the graph that was original, which was this one here in yellow. That's my original frequency. I want to add filters in here to bring that down, this up, and that down, so to speak, to follow on this line. So it's easier for REW to pull down rather than boost up. So I don't want to move my house curve to here, because now it's going to want to bring all of this up down here and all of this up and bring these little bits down. Okay, I mean, we can try it. So if I want to bring it way up like that, high as we can get it, so it's bringing these just down, but it has to boost all of that. So you open up this filter task. So match range, you know, you can change this to whatever. Some people do about 30. I've played with this. I can do 15. Which means it's going to try to pull from here. So since I got the most of it, it really doesn't matter. Anything under 30. 20 to about 120 is what I'm going to try to work with. So individual max boost. So this individual one right here, the max it'll go is 8. So I think I may even have more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's about max boost on that bump right there. Overall is 10. So I don't even know if I'll even get half of that. And then flatness is 1 dB. We want that sucker to snug this line within a dB. So when you feel like that's where you want your house curve, that's what you want my curve to match. Make sure these are checked, and then you hit match response to target. This house curve is our target line. Bring this frequency response up to my target line with filters. Target is more than 10 dB away from, yeah, see, it won't even do it. It's so far. Actually, let's see what it'll do. Hit it OK. Didn't even budge it. Look at that. So if I take away my original, it brought that down and snugged it. Didn't do anything for the rest. So I want to bring this obviously way down. See what it does right in here. Let's do another match response. Still more than 10 dB away. Uncheck that. So that sucked that up pretty quick. Look at that. That just brought that right on that line. So remember, this is a predicted value. So the filters that it put in to bring my graph onto that house curve line is predicted. So I want to save all those filters and import it into my miniDSP and then run a sweep. So I'm going to go in here and save filter coefficients to file. And this may take a few times, guys, but this is just, remember, it's predicted. So I'm going to go save filter coefficients to file. Let's do 33. See how many times I've messed around with this. 33. Shrink this down. Go into my miniDSP. Remember, we like our 0 on our first sub delay and 9 on our second delay. We're going to go into the EQ. Make sure we're on advanced, and we're going to import that file we just saved, that 33 with all of the filters. Process, boom, there's our filters right there. And if you click this linked up here, it should link it to the next one. So I'll go over here, get out of that. So that was output 1, our first sub. Here's our second sub, go into EQ here, and it linked it over here. So now we shrink it, and we run a sweep. Look at that, guys. Just like that. So those filters, the predicted value, this predicted value, look what it did. Did exactly what it said it was going to do. I mean, fantastic job. And all it did was add these filters in. You go in your miniDSP, go to your EQ, these filters. This is the filters that it added. And you can actually see them down here. I don't know how many it is. 1, 2, 3, 4 different filters, or I don't know, B1, B2, A1, A2. Yeah, 4 different filters. So that's what it took to get my 2 subs to align. Fantastic. I cannot ask for a better response. These little squigglies, that's nothing. Look at this. It went from 81 decibels. Yeah, probably down to 75, 76. So 5 or 6 dB difference from 30 to 40 hertz down to 100 hertz. And here's my crossovers on my subs, about 80. Look how smooth that is. I mean, that's going to sound so much better. So it's easy as that, guys. First add the delays, see what works best. Get a summation of your 2 subs, then go into this EQ and use the filters and add the filters in what works best. And if it didn't work, you would just go back in here. You'd run another measurement, take off the filters, run another measurement, and then redo these numbers again until you're happy. Okay, and just fine adjust it. So this looks pretty good. So this was 0,9, 33 was my calibration. Okay. So now let's add this high pass filter right here. So I want to add a high pass filter because my subs only go down to about 30 hertz. One sub goes to 30, the other one's 32. So if this is all over here, I could eventually hurt my subs. If I'm running it too loud, bass hits down here. It's just obviously they're not rated down to the 20s. So to put on a filter here, go into your miniDSP, and this is the crossover. So we want to do them both, but let's put it in. So right now I don't have any crossover. See this orange line going straight across? So we want to add a high pass filter. So bypass, we want to unbypass it, right? So we get this filter. And here's the frequency on the bottom. And again, I want it around 30. So I'm going to go 30. That brings it way over here. And I want it to drop down quick. So these are the different decibel per octaves. You can kind of play with them. That was 12. This real slow one. If I go to 48. Ooh, that's not bad. That one drops pretty quick. Let's see what else there is. So these are the LRs. I'm not sure the difference between LR and BW. Let's try this one. It's pretty good too. We can go down to 48, the highest of the BWs. Oh, that really dropped. I like that one. So we can put that at 30. And we got to match it with our other output. So 30 and BW 48. Get out of that. Go into this crossover. 30. BW 48 and unbypass it, and bam, there it is. Okay. We want everything to fall off around 30 because I don't want to injure my subs. My subs do not go below 30, so we just want that to fall off. Now let's run another sweep. So look at the difference there. So all of this over here, this is 28, well, what is this? I can actually click on it. 27 hertz, which my speakers cannot handle, was at 70 decibels here, and now I've dropped it down to 62. So it's just fallen off. It's exactly what I want. Does that make sense, guys? And if your subs run down to 20s, which, gosh, I wish I had subs that went to 20 hertz. You'd extend this graph would extend all the way to 20, and then you would have a drop off here. You'd put a high pass filter at 20. My subs don't go that far. So that's what I want, guys. That's how you do it. So there you go. There's 2 subs with a high pass filter on. This over here, obviously, they drop off. Subs don't play any higher than that. So my next thing to do is to plug in my mains, my front towers. Both of my towers are Klipsch. Everything I run is pretty much Klipsch. And they have 2 8-inch subs on each tower with a tweeter on top. So let me plug those in real quick, and we'll run a sweep with my mains, and then do another calibration to bring everything together. All right, guys, so I just hooked up my mains, and let's run a sweep and see what happens. Okay, so that right there is with my mains. So see how it pulls in everything here? I mean, that's something sucked out there, piece of furniture or something. But not too bad. I got a little bit of a hump here. So again, I'm going to go into the EQ and see if I can just flatten this out and maybe flatten this out a little bit. So let's go into the EQ. So same thing with all this. 500 to my bass is 100 to 30. .5. Actually, let's go 3. And then 20 to 120. So now I want to move this curve a little bit here. So I want to move it up. You can see how everything's up, and I want to bring it up a little bit here. So let's see if I can bring it up to there. So it'll pull whatever I can up here. That's pretty much on the line. If I can bring that hump down to be nice, and if I can bring that down to about here, it'd be nice. And I'm only running it to 120 match. So I could switch this subwoofer, which I've never actually played with, to full range and really get into all this. But that's for another video. So let's see if I can match that down. So go down here to match response. Okay, that sucked it down pretty good. So let's see if that'll work. So save filters. What the heck number am I on? 34. Clear. Import. 34. Oh, you know what? Shoot, this is what I forgot. So when I went in here to REW, I'm adding filters to already a filtered frequency. So what I got to do is go back to clear here. Make sure this one's clear. Clear there with my mains, then run a sweep. So the only thing that's on there is my 9-second delay on my second sub with my mains. Okay, so that's the one that I have to EQ. So that's both subs with no filters and my mains. So now I go in, and I have my high pass filter on. So now I go in and do my EQ. Yeah, I screwed that up before, guys. I ended up having an EQ curve here, and then made an adjustment and then tried to add another EQ on top of that. Well, it replaces it. So it obviously doesn't work. It's not enough. So go back to all this. 5. Actually, I had that 3, didn't I? Okay, let's see what I can do. So that snugged everything down pretty good. So let's see. Save filters. What is this? 35. This is predicted with my mains, everything hooked up, and my high pass I put on. So I go to my miniDSP, EQ, import. What am I on? 35. Yeah, see there? Link enabled, which means it should have popped over to this one, which it did. What do we have? A1, A2. Okay. Still have the 9-second delay, millisecond delay on my second sub. Now let's run a measurement. See if it meets that predicted value. Okay, so that's what it gave me. That's pretty dang good, guys. I gotta tell you, right past 30 hertz, pretty awesome all the way through. I would not even worry about something like that. That's 1 decibel. You know, this right here, if it was straight across, I'd be a little bit happier, but that's not bad either. And a little bump at 100. That's probably those 8s. Those I got 4 8-inch subs. That's probably really high in this. That's why this whole area is high, 80 to 100. You know, I could go back in and try to bring this down, but man, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, that's, I don't know if I can get any better than that. And then the mids kick in. Got my high pass here. So anyway, so that's, I'm happy with that, guys. So this is me, not a tech guy, normal guy, using that miniDSP. You know, for under $200, you get a miniDSP, a U mic, omnidirectional mic, and free software with REW, and you can get these kind of results. Anybody can do it. Definitely recommend it if you have multi-sub. I only have 2 subs, and I mean, look at what I went from. Here's just my left front sub. So if I only had this sub without any EQ, that's what you'd be hearing. Not smooth at all. I mean, as soon as the bass hits 45 hertz, it's so much lower volume. Or when it rumbles and the car door shuts on a movie at 70 hertz and the thump that you're supposed to hear, you don't even hear it because it's way down here at 60 decibels when it's supposed to be at 80. I mean, terrible. So that's my left sub. Here's my right sub. Much better, but still huge dip here, big peaks. These big peaks here, nulls. I mean, that that, and now together. Here was both of them. This was both of them. I mean, look at how I smooth this out. You can't ask for better, guys. miniDSP and REW for the win. Okay. Well, if you guys have any questions or comments, please write down below. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. Always trying to come up with some good stuff. I love my home theater. I even love it more now. You know, I'm one of those guys that I could easily buy 2 more subs and throw in my room. It is a lot of money, but man, the one thing I have not done is, this is only in my primary listening position, remember. So anywhere else you sit, you're not going to get this response just because I only have the 2 subs. So the next thing would be to take ranges, a couple feet on each side of my main listening position and try to get 3 or 4 seats on the couch to all get them to this, which with 2 subs I doubt I can do. So maybe I'll invest in a couple more subs and have another video of installing all 4 subs and EQ in multiple positions. But anyway, guys, this is fantastic. I mean, look at what it did. Definitely recommended. All right, guys, have a good one. Take care. Thanks for watching.